baby, right back into the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. Oh, baby, coming off of a 2-1 performance yesterday. What the hell was that in the national championship game? That's the easiest winner we'll probably have all year. We're only 10 days into the year. I was on Georgia minus 13. My God, that escalated quickly. Like many of you, I turned the game off. Those of you who were on the over probably kept watching, but yeah, so bit of a bummer. That was, not from a betting perspective, but then over in the NBA, shout out to Chicago Bulls for coming through for us. A half-point cover in Boston. Nice fourth quarter for them. So flying solo today, so going to be in and out fairly quickly today. But before we get into the picks here, guys, do me a favor. There's a like button right down there. There's a subscribe button down there as well. Give those a little click here for your boy. It makes the show easier to find, too, if you are a user of YouTube, which, of course, you probably are if you're watching this on YouTube right now. All right, guys, 4 total picks. Let's get right into the action. We're going to start things off up in Toronto, where the Charlotte Hornets are in town. Total of 230.5 for this one. Give me the under. So we should be expecting a major brick-laying contest in this game because each of these offenses has been absolutely horrific lately. Check out the last 10 games. 30th versus 28th in EFG shooting percentage, 27th and 24th in points per 100 possessions. Horrendous three-point shooting from these teams. And to the Raptors' credit, I guess, they're keeping scoring down. They're 4th in points allowed over their last 10 games. 7 of those 10 games actually stayed under this number of 230.5. And expect a lot of empty possessions in this game. Aside from the dreadful shooting numbers, each team has been great at creating turnovers, ranking 2nd and 5th in opponent turnover percentage over the last 10 games. Also limiting points off turnovers and second chance points. Give me the under up in Toronto. Next up, we go to beautiful Utah, where we are taking a big swing on this one. Give me Donovan Mitchell to score 35 or more points, going off at plus 230. So we all know that Donovan Mitchell is a big game player. He absolutely rises to the occasion, and this absolutely qualifies as a big game in his return to Utah. Now, we did play them not too long ago, and he was absolutely on pace to torch them in that game. He scored 23 points in 23 minutes, but the problem was he only played 23 minutes due to the game being a blowout. He was out for blood in that game, 8 of 12 from the field, including 4 of 5 from three-point land. This is a great matchup for him. This Jazz defense is getting absolutely torched, especially at home, where they rank 26 in points allowed. Teams just running up and down the court on them with ease, and expect a lot of easy buckets for Mitchell in this one. Utah's getting absolutely killed in the paint this season. They are last in the NBA in points allowed in the paint, so expect him to score from basically wherever he wants tonight. Big swing on that one. Okay, next up we move to the ice, where we are off to Long Island, where the Dallas Stars are in 10, and I'm going to take those Stars as a small favorite, minus 115. So what we got here is a major analytical and special teams mismatch. Expected goals for percentage over the last 10 games, 3rd versus 22nd. We also have a decent gap in high danger chances for percentage as well. This is also a game between the league's 4th and 26th ranked power plays, 4th, of course, favoring the Dallas Stars. The Islanders are going to have trouble creating chances in this one. They are near the bottom of the league in high danger chances and shots on net over the last 10 games. Dallas doing their goalies a solid by being one of the better teams in the league at keeping shots and high danger chances down. And the man between the pipes for the Dallas Stars, Jake Ottinger, the pride of Lakeville, Minnesota, a great American goaltender. He is on a red-hot stretch right now. 2 or fewer goals allowed in 9 of his last 11 starts. The Stars are 8-3 in these games. Give me the Stars, minus 115. And we will wrap up the picks section of the show by taking the Calgary Flames in regulation, -105, taking on the St. Louis Blues tonight. So check out Calgary, becoming a bit of an analytics darling here at the moment, turning the clock back to last year when they were fantastic. Expected goals for percentage over the last 10 games, second versus 28. Oh my God, favoring Calgary, of course, 6th versus 29th, and high danger chances for percentage. Binnington, the shame of Richmond Hill, Ontario, expected to be in between the pipes for the Blues, and he's been awful lately. 4 or more goals allowed in 5 of his last 7 starts. Doesn't get much worse than that. Meanwhile, Jacob Markstrom, the pride of Sweden, expected to start for Calgary, and he's been rebounding after rough starts, and he is coming off an ugly performance in a loss to the pathetic Chicago Blackhawks. He allowed 3 goals in just over 20 minutes on the ice. But check this out. He's allowed 3 or more goals in consecutive games just once across his last 15 starts. And the Blues beat Calgary 5-2 not long ago. But we got to keep in mind here, guys, you dig into the numbers from that game, Calgary absolutely blasted them. They outshot them 43-24. They will be out for revenge. Give me the Flames in 60. All right, there you have it, 4 picks for tonight's action. If you're looking to tail, if you're looking to fade any of the action on chasing that paper today, I recommend placing your action over at BetMGM. Let me tell you a little bit about the king of sportsbooks. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. That's VIBONUS, all one word, no spaces, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit at BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Yeah. All right. A couple topics I want to touch on here, guys. The fallout from the regular season. The NFL, something I've been kind of touching on every week. I've been taking a lot of unders in Cleveland Browns games lately. Hopefully you guys tailed some of those because they were red hot there on a week 18. But overall, they were great during this run Deshaun Watson had. And I think Deshaun Watson, his awfulness completely flew under the radar this season. The Browns offense averages 12.8 points per game in Watson's 6 starts this season. And it's kind of funny. Russell Wilson, this guy was a complete and total punching bag for the entirety of the season, deservedly so for the most part. But here's the thing. Russell Wilson was better than Deshaun Watson this season. Wilson had a better quarterback rating, a better completion percentage, and a higher average yards per completion. Watson averages 183.6 passing yards per game. What's the excuse here for Deshaun Watson? You want to blame Russ for the first game? Okay. Give him a bit of a pass for that one against the Houston Texans. Not exactly a great defense, but he was completely awful. And this has got to be just an incredible disappointment if you're a Browns fan or a member of that organization, considering what they gave up for this guy. Just absolutely crazy. So there's no optimism whatsoever regarding Deshaun Watson. He didn't have one good game. You wouldn't look at any of Deshaun Watson's game logs and said, well, that's a good game. He was awful. He was worse than Russell Wilson. Flew under the radar how bad this guy was. Now, another observation I have about Deshaun Watson, you guys notice that there was basically zero mainstream media attention regarding Watson on the field this season. Now, you might say, well, Joe, the Cleveland Browns, they were irrelevant by the time Watson joined the team. They were out of it. Yeah, but I would counter, before Watson came on the field, the media wouldn't shut up about this guy. He was one of the biggest stories in football. This is probably one of the biggest stories in football over the past couple of years, right? All of the off-field nonsense that he got himself involved in, yet absolute crickets week in and week out regarding his on-field performance. No one really cared, but it seems like he got a little bit of a pass, I watch ESPN and Fox Sports as much as the next guy. Didn't hear a whole lot about Watson, so a bit unusual. Let me know if you agree. Now, one team I do want to give a little bit of credit to, speaking of something that flew under the radar, I think the tank job that the Chicago Bears did, this was one of the best tank jobs in the history of the NFL. It's often wildly obvious when a team is trying to tank, but I don't think this was the case with the Chicago Bears, maybe up until their Week 18 game. So the story of their season, they get off to that 2-1 start, and the front office has to be seeing what's going on after 3 games. They can say, hold on now, pump the brakes here, guys. What the hell are you doing? A 2-1 start? This isn't what we're looking to do. The team goes on to go 1-13 the rest of the way, and they set their defense up to be one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They got rid of their best players, Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith. And it's kind of funny, they got right up to the finish line, Week 18, right? They knew if they lost and if the Texans won, then they were going to get that number 1 overall pick. That's going to give them so much leverage. If they want to take a quarterback, you're hearing rumblings about that today. They're probably going to trade it, though, and get a boatload of picks for it. But they get right up to that finish line, Week 18. All they got to do is throw the game. And what did they do? Well, they put in one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, Nathan Peterman. That's not an exaggeration. They tell us that Justin Fields was hurt, even though he was on the cusp of breaking the quarterback rushing record. Fields looked okay to me in Week 17. He ran for 132 yards in that game. So credit to the Chicago Bears. They set themselves up pretty good here with that number 1 overall pick in the cap space as well. So things looking up for Chicago. You don't want to be stuck in the middle. You know, you always have these teams like, I don't know, the Falcons and the Panthers. They always find themselves picking between 7 and 10 in the draft, and they're not getting these elite players. If you want to lose, you got to go all in on losing. So credit to the Chicago Bears for pulling that off. And finally, we'll move over to the NBA here. Big news, Kevin Durant. Looks like he's going to miss about a month of the season. And, self-imposed or not, the Brooklyn Nets, this is a team that cannot catch a break, whether it's Kyrie getting himself in trouble, the bullshit with James Harden and Steve Nash. This team has severely underachieved, but it looked like that championship window is starting to open up a little bit for them here. Second place in the Eastern Conference, 18-2 in their last 20 games. Now they get hit with this injury from Durant, a guy that's been injured a lot. He's played just 32 and 55 games in his previous 2 seasons here with the Nets. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You know, they get the Celtics coming up, and then they go on a 5-game road trip after a game with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So they could be in trouble. And, I think for the Nets, it would have been really important for them to get a top 2 seed in the conference so that they could avoid maybe playing both the Bucks and the Celtics. Who knows? But you got to be concerned about Kevin Durant, 34 years old. This guy misses a lot of time. And we got to be honest, not a whole lot of people like the Nets, but it's like I say about LeBron and the Lakers. When LeBron and the Lakers are in the mix in terms of the playoffs, it makes things more dramatic, makes things better, makes things more exciting. So we will hope that Kevin Durant can heal up and the Nets can punch their ticket, get into the playoffs, and make a little bit of noise. I would love to see it. Okay, guys, let me tell you a little bit about the Vegas Insider app right now. The Vegas Insider app gives you all the major sports betting odds at your fingertips, along with picks and expert breakdowns. You can shop for the best odds, find props, futures, and plenty more with the app. If you want more Vegas Insider content like our shows, videos, and podcasts, you can find it all on the app in the media section. Download the Vegas Insider app on Apple or Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. All right, guys, we put up a poll on our Twitter feed, Vegas Insider Twitter. We wanted to know, out of the big underdogs this weekend, Super Wild Card Weekend, which of the big underdogs do you think is most likely to cover the spread? 58.5% of people siding with the Seahawks. No, I don't necessarily like any of these. I will have a pick on the 49ers probably on Friday's show. But what's the big difference between these teams, guys? Well, one of these teams is healthy. The other team is completely beat to shit. Now, obviously, the Dolphins played the Bills pretty good this season. They beat them in Miami earlier in the year. Then, of course, a couple Saturday nights ago, they went right down to the wire with them. But that was a completely different version of the Miami Dolphins. I think Tua is probably a real long shot to play. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to make any predictions about that. But you also have to consider, is Armstead going to play? Mostert broke his thumb. What are the chances he'll play? He's looked great in recent weeks. Now, the Dolphins' defense has been pretty good recently. Maybe look at the under in that one. But yeah, I don't think we're going to know if Tua is playing until we get up closer to the game. I'd say it's unlikely, probably. But yeah, the Seahawks, you're going to hear a lot this week about, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season because, as we know, the 49ers have 2 regular season wins against Seattle. But is that actually true? People seem to throw that out there. I don't often see the data or the stats to back it up. It very well could be true. But yeah, it's going to be interesting with Brock Purdy. Is he going to hit that wall? This guy's been invincible so far. He's been fantastic so far. You can't knock the guy at all. But sometimes when you shift to the winner-go-home type of games here in the playoffs, the mentality of some players starts to shift. Some guys crumble. I'm not predicting that he will. I don't think he will. But maybe he does. And who knows about Geno Smith in a tight spot? A lot of people probably don't trust him. Maybe this is a guy that rises to the occasion. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens in these games either way. I think the 49ers are going to score a lot of points on that Seahawks defense. So, all right, let's get into some viewer picks here. Quite a few submissions here. Schreckengoss. He's on the New Jersey Devils team total. He likes to go over 2.5 goals. Minus 120, Canes perhaps showing some regression. They're struggling to keep pucks out of the net, allowing 4+ in 4 straight. Yeah, Devils still a juggernaut on the road, scoring 3 more in 15 of their last 16. Devils put up 4 on the Canes in their matchup just 9 days ago. Yeah, that's a good look. 3 or more goals in 15 of their last 16. Yeah, it looks like a good spot to take advantage of here for the Devils. What do we have next? Temple, -3. I think a couple people submitted this one. Captain Axe's Locks. He got this in first. Give this guy a follow. So Temple has covered 3 of their last 4 games, 9-8 ATS on the season. Nothing special, obviously. Meanwhile, Tulsa has failed to cover in 13 of their 14 games this year. My God, just an absolute money pit. Auto fade on Tulsa. Temple 2-1 ATS on the road, advantage in rebounds and free throw percentage, making free throws down the stretch is the key. Yeah, especially in college basketball. Yeah, Temple. Keeping my eyes on that one tonight. I think we might have one more here. Thomas Hurdle. This one's from Dustin Chafee. I think that's how you pronounce the last name. He likes Thomas Hurdle to go over 2.5 shots on goal, +105. Hurdle has cleared this in 3 straight games, 7 of his last 10. Sharks facing off against the Coyotes, who give up the 2nd most shots per game at home in the NHL. Yeah, the Arizona Coyotes, they're an absolute disgrace of a professional sports franchise. Take that team out of Arizona. What is going on? Yeah, we'll be cheering for Thomas Hurdle. And pretty good analytics for the Sharks, by the way. I considered taking them on their money line, but maybe a little bit too overvalued. That's it. In and out here, guys. 17 minutes today. Quick show, and I'm flying solo. I won't be flying solo the rest of the week, though. Kevin Rogers will be with me tomorrow. Break down his favorite college basketball picks, and Ian will be right back with me on Thursday and Friday. Guys, make sure you are subscribed to this Vegas Insider YouTube channel. A lot of great content on there for Super Wildcard Weekend already. I filmed my Vikings-Giants preview and pick, so you're going to want to check that out. I have a couple more filmings to do this afternoon as well. So yeah, make sure you keep your eyes on that, guys. Good luck with your bets tonight, unless, of course, you are fading me. And as always, keep chasing that paper. What?